Chiropractors, are you having trouble managing and leading your staff? Hi, everybody. Welcome to the KC CHIROpulse Podcast, brought to you by CATS Consultants, helping doctors keep their pulse on success. I'm Dr. Michael Perusich, joined by my good friend, Dr. Troy Fox. We are your hosts today, as most days. So welcome, everybody. You know, we were just talking about golf before we jumped on camera. And isn't it funny how you can have that one club in your bag? You said it's a 6-iron. For me, it's the driver. I can hit my 3-wood about twice as far and much straighter than I can my driver, which makes no sense.
Right.
But, you know, that kind of reminds me of trying to inspire and manage your team. You know, sometimes, you know, you've got all these different people that work for you, and you may just have one person or multiple people, but everybody's different personality. It's kind of like the golf clubs in a golf bag. Every one of them does something really, really good. And every one of them, if we don't handle it just right, it can kind of flub up the whole team. It throws off the entire score. So,
Right.
so how do
So
we,
don't be a 6-iron.
don't be a 6-iron in your practice.
That's right. That's right.
And I apparently need somebody else to take over the driving of mine. So, but you know, I think this is one place where I think we all can really work on our practices a lot. And that's taking the time to be inspirational and to really manage our teams. Because when we do that, you hear me say this all the time, we create success partners around us. When we create success partners, we parlay what we can do on our own into something much, much bigger and much more successful. And I know, Troy, over the years, you've been great at leading and managing your teams. And
Yeah.
I know some of the reasons why, but let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I think I want to talk about right at the very beginning, because let's point the finger at you first, doctors, because here's the problem. A lot of folks say, hey, I'm going to go in and motivate my staff because I'm totally unmotivated and I'm burnt out. I'm tired. I don't want to do this. I want my staff to pull all the weight. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and motivate my staff to do this. Doesn't work that way. It's never going to work that way. Here's the thing. You have to be the motivated leader. So pull yourself up by the bootstraps. If you are burned out right now, take a break, do whatever you need to do. If you need to take time off, call us. We'll tell you what to do, but take that time if you need it. If you're just a little bit worn down around the edges, take a day, take an extra day and do a staycation, stay at home, do what I'm doing. Well, you could hang out at home. I'm hanging out at home right now. I got my Wildcats sweater on today because it is freezing cold here today. So I've got it on over my scrubs just because I feel like I'm running around in my swimsuit in 0-degree weather in my scrubs. So I've got this thing. I got this thing on, but you know, take a little time for yourself. And then what you've got to do to motivate your staff is you have to lead by example. So in other words, you got to get your headspace right first before we step into the headspace of all your staff. Then I think the second step for me is, and then, you know, Dr. Perusich will unpack some of this here in a second. He'll be like, ooh, I love this. So the second thing I would recommend that you do, and I think this is very important, and we do this with every staff member, we find out what their personality traits are. There's little tests that you can do. I've got one that's an app on my phone that we can actually have the person take it. It kind of gives me just a basic rundown of who this person is. Are they a driver? Are they a follower? Are they somebody that follows everything to the detail? Would they be a good detail organized person in this area or that? So I want to know where they fit into my team before I start trying to go in and motivate people to do jobs that they don't have a strength in. And so that's really my starting point. And then I will tell you that 100%, no different than with my patients. You know what I tell my staff? Let's love on our patients and the rest will fall into place. I believe the same thing with our staff. Let's love our staff and the rest of the things will fall into place, because if they feel appreciated and needed, and we can talk about what staff need to feel appreciated and needed, but if they feel appreciated and needed, they're going to help you reach your goals. And that's important because then you become a team rather than a doctor with support staff.
Well said to all that. There's several things I want to go through there and unpack. You mentioned the inspired leader.
Yeah.
And I think that is so true. If we come in dragging, guess what? Our team's going to be dragging because they're going to emulate us If we come in a bad mood, everybody's going to be in a bad mood. If we come in fired up and ready to see patients and just ready to be the leader, guess what? They're all going to step up too. So how do we keep ourselves inspired? Because, okay, let's face it, while we all love what we do, and I'm not putting on our profession at all. You guys know I love this profession, but what we do can get a little monotonous at times.
Mm-hmm.
Patients coming in, they lay down on the table, you adjust them, they get up, you talk for a minute, they leave. And it does get kind of repetitive. So we have to really make sure that we step off that chiropractic mouse wheel once in a while and do some things to keep ourselves motivated. And that's not by going in and driving the practice every day. You have to literally step away. I loved your staycation idea because I do those all the time. You've got to literally step away to get recharged and re-energized. So what are some ways to do that? Well, it depends on you. It might be reading. It might be exercising. It might be taking a vacation with your wife, whether that's going to Mexico or that's just having an extra long weekend sometime and just not even thinking or thinking about the practice.
Or it could be axe throwing or other dangerous activities.
Absolutely. One of my favorites. Yep.
I've never done the axe throwing thing, but I'm thinking if you want to get rid of some excess energy, either go out and play really bad golf because that'll wear me out pretty quick, or go through some axes.
Okay, so funny story about that. Over Christmas, over the holidays, our whole family went and did axe throwing, and it was way more fun than I realized it was going to be.
Really?
So,
okay,
anyway,
we got to go. I got to take my staff and go do it then.
We got to go do it. So we have a blast. Anyway, you've got to put yourself in front of some motivation. Maybe it's go to a John Maxwell seminar. Maybe it's some other motivational seminar. Maybe it's watching some videos on YouTube. Maybe it's just going to a peer-to-peer event in the profession. We put on live events all the time. Come check us out. Going back to homecoming, whatever it might be, whatever floats your boat, you got to do it. And you've got to put it on your list of things to do often. So,
yeah, I think that's very important. But I wouldn't go do anything with John Maxwell though, because he never allows me to achieve mastery. I'm always working to reach mastery and I'm never there. So I'm going to go with somebody like Charlie Brown that says you have arrived. So no, John Maxwell is great, but I tell you what, John Maxwell stuff keeps me on my toes because every time I think that I'm doing good, I'll reread like the 5 pillars. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm not there. I'm not even close. I'm like 2/3 of the way up the ladder at this point. So it is a great learning experience to do Maxwell. I think that is one way to help. And I think getting your staff engaged down the road once you become proficient with Maxwell is a really good thing to add in as well.
Absolutely. And you've got to bring your team right along with you. You can't be the only one doing that kind of training and personal development.
Right.
You need to immerse your staff in it too. And I know you're all sitting out there thinking, well, we don't have time. We don't have time. You got to make time. And I'm telling you, there is time. I can come into every one of your practices and I can help you find the time. And if you think that's a problem for you, give us a call. We'll help you with that. But you've got to get your staff immersed in those same principles, because if they're not staying motivated, I mean, it's one thing, yes, that if you come in a motivated, good mood every day, ready to fight the fight, they will step up a little bit. But if they're not getting that personal development as well, I'm telling you, it's well worth the time, energy, and money to get them those same tools. That's part of managing. That's part of inspiring, is you've got to get them immersed in some of those things. You said one other thing in there, and now it slipped my mind, because we talked about axe throwing, which is a great team development idea. Just make sure you have all the proper insurance for all your team before you go.
Yeah, and make sure you're not doing it at home. You might want to go to an official axe throwing site.
I would recommend it.
There you go.
Yes, and pay attention to the instructions when they give them too.
Right. I got you.
Yeah, highly important. So, when we talk about leadership in the chiropractic practice, it's not just our staff that we're leading. Why do our patients come to us? Our patients are coming to us expecting us to lead them to good health, to some outcome or restoration of function that they're looking for. And so we're their leaders as well. So we've got to remember that it's not about what we want when we're with the patient. It's about what they need,
Mhm.
and they need us to lead them. So make good treatment plans. Help patients understand the value of staying on that treatment plan and being committed to it, and what the outcome is going to be in the end and how worth it it's going to be.
And celebrate those successes. So not only with your staff, you're going to give your staff maybe an extra day off, or maybe you're going to take them out for a special dinner because of a goal that they reached, or you're going to incentivize them financially because of a goal that you've reached. But your staff wants to be involved in this process. And when they do and they get the reward, it just blossoms. Now, same thing goes for your patients. So it goes all the way down the line. If I come into the office in a great mood, excited to create healing in patients and lay hands on people with intent today, my staff is going to be excited about me laying hands on people with intent, and they're going to follow right behind me with that support
Yep.
role of what they do with intent. And guess what? Patients are then going to be happy about what they're doing, but do this as well, because patients are now on board for this ride. So this isn't just about staff. I want to include patients in this too. Celebrate their successes. When they reach milestones in their treatment, do you celebrate that and let other staff members know? Do you give them a coffee mug? Do you give them like we have these Fox Chiropractic bags that, ladies take when they go to the store or carry something in and out of the house. They love these things. It's a great gift. Some of them got a coffee mug and a bag, but we just started randomly giving gifts away when people reach milestones. We're like, hey, guess what? We're so excited that you finished 4 weeks of treatment with us, or 2 weeks, or whatever, or you're graduated to maintenance or wellness care. Have a coffee mug, or have a bag, or have both, and
I love
we
that.
celebrate that success, and our staff comes out, and the crazy thing is my staff will pop their heads around the corner and go, hey, great job. I mean, our patients know that we're excited for them. So I think it goes down the line when you do that. That's how you create a system, but it all starts with you walking through the back door. Guess what? When you go in with patients, even when you're having a bad day, do you have a great attitude with your patients? Hey, how you doing, Mike? Good to see you today. In my mind, I'm thinking my dog just died and my son just got kicked out of school. But I'm like, hey, Mike, go ahead and lay down on the table. How you doing today? Now, my intent to heal may be a little bit impaired at that point, but I'm gonna put on a pretty good show. Can you not do the same
Absolutely.
thing with your can you not do the same thing with your staff when you walk in the morning? Get people
You will.
ready to go by faking it until you make it, right?
That's
I think
exactly
it's a
right.
great way. Yeah, great
So
way to work with
I
our
want
people.
exactly. We need to take a little break here for a word from our sponsor, but I want to come back and I want to talk about the happy patient and what that
Mhm.
means for your practice and your success. So we're talking about chiropractic leadership, inspiring and managing your team, and part of your team are your patients. So when we come back, we'll also have a really pointed question for Dr. Troy as well when we come back. So we'll be right back.
KC Chiropractic Consultants, your partner in chiropractic success, bringing you experience, dedication, and one-on-one guidance for all your practice management needs. Give us a call at KC Chiropractic Consultants and let's supercharge your practice today.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the KC CHIROpulse Podcast, brought to you by KC Consultants. We are talking about chiropractic leadership, inspiring and managing your team. And I promised a question for Dr. Troy right before we took
I'm
a
s-
break. And
I'm
here's my
so
question.
nervous.
How come I never got a coffee cup?
Oh, okay. Well, that's easy. All right. I can send you a coffee cup. I was nervous. I thought you were going to ask me something highly intellectual that I probably wouldn't be able to answer.
Well, that way
I
I
can
think of
see.
you every morning when I have my coffee.
Hey, I'm going to see you here in about 3 or 4 weeks. I may just bring you two because you can't just have one.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. So
There you go.
I wanted to come back and talk about the happy patient that you mentioned, because this is so important. This is what being a good chiropractic leader in your practice does. It creates not only happy staff, not only happy doctor, but it creates happy patients. And what do happy patients do? They refer other great people to your practice. And I know we're always looking for new patients. I get it. We need a certain level of new patients every month. And yet, so oftentimes we're trying to go find the hardest patient out there to bring in the door and then expect them to like everything we tell them immediately and want to be involved in our big treatment plan and so forth. And yet the easiest new patients to bring in the door are the ones that are referred from other happy patients, right?
Yeah, they're
So,
already aware that they're probably going to be on a treatment schedule. They're probably already aware that you're going to do an exam on them. They know the ins and outs of your office procedures because their
yeah,
friends already told them. Whereas the guy that comes in off the ad that I get in, I get one of these every day through my Gmail account, at least one, if not two or three. Hey, doc, looks like your practice is doing really well. BS. You have no idea how my practice is doing.
right.
And as a result of that, or do you need new patients? Because we're going to send you 25 qualified new patients a month and you don't pay us anything until they come in and see us. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And then I look at the bottom for what word I'm supposed to use for them never to message me again. Unsubscribe, no, nope. The one last night was nope, N-O-P-E. And so I
I
hit
love it.
nope. See you later. Because here's the thing. I know that type of patient, if I get 25, I'm going to have one that's quality and the other 24 are going to damage the reputation of my practice.
Yep.
How's it hard? How hard does it get for me to create excitement and motivation in my practice when everybody coming through the door is hard on my staff and hard on me and hard on chiropractic? Instead of
Yep.
going, I'm excited to be here because I already know that you get great results and I understand how chiropractic works and I can't wait. That's the kind of patient that I want. So there is a way that you can actually, within your motivational profile, also seek certain types of patients, like you just said, that happy patient, because I don't want to fight with you the whole time you're here. I don't want to drag you to the adjusting table.
Right.
I want you to come willingly.
Exactly. Exactly. And so those happy patients who go tell other people about you have already gotten them, that's not really a good word. They've already help those people reach a level of excitement about your practice before they ever show up. And when they get there, they got the smile on their face. Hey, doc, I've heard such great things about you. And guess what? That person then starts as a happy patient.
Yeah.
So now the other patient that took 6 or 8 visits to get to be happy because they're seeing results, they've referred somebody in that's now happy on day 1. They're just happy to be there. So
yeah,
to me, the greatest new patient marketing program ever is the referral. And it's so simple to do. And that's a topic for another time, but that's part of being a leader. And, when you start getting all these referrals and you got all these happy people coming in, it's 3 degrees of separation. It's the LinkedIn idea. Who do they know? Where do they work? What do they do at work? Can that open up some other avenues? How can that person help me get into the community a little bit more? I had a patient one time came in, he was president of Boys and Girls Club. He had a great experience in the practice. We went to lunch one day. He said, hey, why don't you come check out what we're doing with the Boys and Girls Club? Well, a year later, I was president. So, that's how you get your foot in the door of stuff like that, which along with that came a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
And then that just parlayed even more. So now people are seeing me out in the community. I'm standing up at the podium at the Boys and Girls Club auction, doing all the speeches and announcements. And now I got 1,000 people in front of me that now want to be my patient because of just those little connections. So that's being a leader in your community.
So can you say gun shy? And the reason, because as you said that, I went, because I don't know how many times, and I'm sure many of you as well, have been invited to come speak at something. Kiwanis is a really great example. Hey, will you come speak at Kiwanis? Next thing you know, literally within an hour of you speaking at Kiwanis, you got the membership paperwork in front of you, and they're already promoting you to be president next year. And I've done that with being a deacon in our church. I've done that with Kiwanis. I mean, all these different guys. If you even say, yes, I'll make cookies through the school bazaar, you could be the PTO president next year. And so I think it's funny, but doesn't that tell you that the world is craving leadership and somebody meets you? And I know that sometimes they just want warm shoes to fill a spot, but when they meet somebody that's a real leader in their practice, they're like, whoa, this guy could be helpful for our cause. That's why they're talking to you immediately.
Yep. And then people see how effective you are in those positions and they want to be around you more. People like to follow leaders. So why not be the leader? Let people follow you.
Here's a quick message from our sponsor, Chiro Health USA.
So we all feel it. rent or dining out, gasoline or movies. As a matter of fact, the dollar is not going as far for a whole host of reasons, and it's impacting everybody regardless of your financial situation. Did you know that 38% of the overall population is having to reconsider how they're spending their money just to afford the healthcare they need? And if you break it down further, 26% have actually delayed the healthcare that they need, including going to see you, the chiropractor. So here's what we need to know about the breakdown in demographics. You would think that someone who's making $120,000 or more would be continuing their care right now, but the actual number is 18%. 18% of that group is actually putting off healthcare, and that's a group of people making six figures. When you take that same information all the way down to a group making $40,000, that number is much higher. It's closer to 40%. So it's never been more important than now to make sure you've made it easy for your patients to come see you, that you have choices for them, and you understand what they're going through at home. We want to make sure your practice thrives during this time, and we encourage you to learn about what ChiroHealth USA can do for you and your practice, and making it easy for patients to see you and continue care.
You know, I'm going to give you a little tidbit today before you guys go. Here's where you start warming your staff up now. When you go in and you're talking to staff, don't tell them about what you got going on. Okay? Here's what you do. You ask them what they've got going on. How was your weekend? Oh my gosh, you guys went out to this, even if it's a restaurant that you've never even been to. Oh my gosh, that sounds fantastic. Or if you've been there, oh my gosh, yeah, I think we've visited that restaurant before, but that is just phenomenal. I don't think you need to tell your story then about how you went there and spent more money than they did because you're the doctor. Or we also stayed at the Ritz-Carlton next door to that restaurant. I think we listen to what our patient or our clients are saying. And I was actually saying our staff, sorry, but our staff and our clients. So in other words, it's a great rule to do with both of them, but see what happens when you get your staff talking about themselves and what they're up to and what's important to them. I think you will find that you will very quickly pull yourself into an endeared position where you can then present that leadership proposal.
Very quickly. And good leaders, I'll piggyback on that. Good leaders empathetically listen and they ask questions. They don't talk about themselves. They empathetically listen and ask questions. So, you know, that's a great, really, really great point. So if you want to become a great chiropractic leader, you want to be that inspiration and motivation and really manage your team well and your patients well and become a leader in the community. These are some great pillars to lean on. So develop your staff, make them success partners. If you're having trouble getting them plugged into things, we have all kinds of tools for your staff, all kinds of development opportunities for you and them. So that's one of the great things we do at CATS Consultants is we do a lot of team building for practices, which is well worth the time and energy to do. So if you haven't already, jump over to catsconsultants.com, cats with a K. Check us out. We've got a lot of free resources over there. We've got some great downloads. See what we're doing. Come visit us at one of our live events. And, you know, if you just want to chat for a few minutes about your practice, we enjoy doing that too. Schedule a breakthrough call. We'd love to hear from you. No obligation. Let's just talk. Troy, anything else to add?
No, I think this is fantastic. And quite frankly, if you don't get 5 or 6 nuggets out of this that you can take into your practice tomorrow, I'll be shocked. Now, if you don't, you don't. I mean, it is what it is. You know, not everyone can be as cool as me, but no. I think really, if you listen to this and write down a few things, you'll be able to take these into your practice and use them right now. These are simple little things that you can do to transform your practice and put yourself in a position where you start to become the inspirational leader that you want to be. And you get to see your staff be who you want them to be, which is fantastic. It's really fun.
Absolutely. It really is. And my team's probably standing outside the studio door thinking, oh my gosh, he's all fired up today. Get ready to be inspired. We're going to have a great day.
That's right.
So, all right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the KC CHIROpulse Podcast, helping doctors keep their pulse on success. Let us know how we can help you because we're all about chiropractic success for each and every one of you. We'll see you next time.
See ya.